Most people go through life thinking the power is somewhere out there, in the job they're waiting for, in the relationship they're hoping to fix, in the money they think will finally make them feel safe, or in some magical event that will show up one day and rescue them from the heaviness they're carrying. But what if the truth is completely upside down? What if the power never lived out there to begin with? What if all those things, the job, the relationship, the money, the freedom, what if they were just reflections of something that first had to be imagined, something that was already taking shape long before it showed up in the physical world? And here's the part most people never consider. What if the things they're calling reality are just old thoughts, old feelings, old stories, hardened into form? What if nothing ever actually changes until the inner world changes first? That would flip everything, wouldn't it? Because that would mean there's no use chasing anything out there until there's a shift in here. That would mean all the effort to rearrange life on the outside is like trying to fix a mirror instead of fixing the face looking into it. And maybe that's why the same problems keep repeating. Why things change on the surface, but the emotional cycle keeps going. Different names, different faces, different settings, but the same experience underneath. That's not because life is against anyone. It's because life is just echoing back what's been accepted as true. And if someone doesn't wake up to that, they'll spend years fighting shadows, not realizing that the real work, the only work, was always within. It was never out there. There comes a moment in every journey where the mind wants to ask someone else if it's okay to want what it wants, if it's okay to imagine something big, to believe in something that hasn't yet appeared, to reach for something that feels unreasonable or unrealistic from the current position. But the truth is, no one has to give that permission. Not one person. Because the only permission that's ever needed is the one that comes from inside. That quiet moment where a decision is made. Not a wish, not a desperate plea, but a calm, clear decision. This is mine. This is what I choose. And I don't need anyone to agree with it. And when that decision is made with full conviction, when it isn't rushed, when it isn't filled with doubt, when it comes from a place of deep personal clarity, that's when life begins to move. Not instantly, not always in a dramatic way, but it moves. The pieces start shifting. The bridge of events begins building itself. But here's the part most people miss. That bridge doesn't look like magic while it's happening. It looks like normal life. It might even look like things falling apart. It might involve someone leaving, or something breaking, or an opportunity closing. But every single one of those events is working together to fulfill the thing that was decided. And it only works because someone dared to imagine. Someone decided they didn't need applause or approval. They just needed their own yes. That's the only yes that matters. Once the decision is made, the next step is to feel it. Not wish for it, not hope for it, but to feel it like it's already real. To move into the state of the wish fulfilled. To stop trying to figure out when or how it will happen, and instead go straight to the emotional end. What would it feel like if it were already done? What would life feel like if the desire had already been realized? That's the state to live in. Not someday, not eventually, now. And the more real that feeling becomes, the faster the outer world responds. But here's the thing, this part can't be rushed. It can't be forced. It has to be felt, deeply, consistently, sincerely. It's like choosing to wear the coat of the new self even before the weather changes. It might feel strange at first. The senses might still argue. The world might still reflect the old story. But imagination doesn't care about that. It creates anyway. It knows what it saw. And once that feeling is alive, once the inner experience has become richer than the outer lack, it's time to release it. Not because the desire is forgotten, but because it's now trusted. The seed has been planted. It doesn't need to be dug up and checked every day. Just like a farmer doesn't scream at the soil for not growing fast enough, the one who truly knows trusts the process. That trust isn't passive, it's powerful. It's what allows the bridge to unfold without panic, without doubt, without chasing signs. Feeling it real and letting go. That's where the magic begins. This is the part where so many get confused. The moment something starts shifting in the outer world, maybe a new opportunity shows up, or someone reaches out, or even something unexpected happens that seems unrelated, the mind immediately tries to connect the dots and assign credit to something outside. It wants to say, oh, this happened because I spoke to that person, or that door opened because I worked so hard, or that chance came because of some perfect timing. But those are not the causes, those are just the bridge. They are just the steps life had to take to deliver the thing that was already accepted within. And the bridge doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes things fall apart. Sometimes it looks like rejection or loss or confusion. But that doesn't mean something went wrong. In fact, it usually means something's being cleared. It means space is being made. Because once a new reality has been accepted on the inside, the old one can't stand anymore. The structure that held it up begins to fall. And that falling can feel chaotic, even scary, but it's necessary. It's part of the unfolding. The outer events are never the source of the manifestation. They are just echoes. The cause was always the imaginal act. It was the moment someone sat quietly and truly felt what it would be like if the thing they wanted were already true. That's the seed. That's the spark. and everything else is just movement. Everything else is just the rearranging of this giant stage called life to make the vision come to pass. So when the bridge starts unfolding, don't worship it, don't fear it, and definitely don't get distracted by it. Just keep walking, knowing that something bigger is guiding every step, something that was born inside the moment it was imagined. This is where everything turns. Because once it's really understood that imagination is not some cute mental escape, once it's seen as the real creative power of life, everything changes. Life becomes a game of awareness, not effort, not force, not control, but awareness. The world outside begins to be seen for what it is, just old imagination showing up as current facts, which means nothing that's currently happening is final. It's all clay. It's all temporary. And if something doesn't feel good, doesn't reflect the truth of who someone really is, it can be changed, not by fighting it, not by begging, but by imagining again. And this is the thing most people don't realize. No one can stop someone from imagining. That's the one place in the world that is completely private, completely powerful, and always available. No matter what's going on around them, no matter how stuck things seem, anyone can close their eyes and build an entirely new reality from the inside out. And when that imagined state becomes more real than the one that's currently showing up, when it starts to feel like memory instead of fantasy, it begins to take shape. And yes, the world will call it real once it shows up, but it was always real. It was real the moment it was felt, the moment it was accepted, the moment it was lived internally. That's the secret. What the world calls the start is actually the end of a long, quiet, powerful process that happened in imagination. That's the true cause. That's where life begins. If there's one core truth that holds all of this together, it's this: the end is not something to wait for. The end is where it all begins. That means instead of asking, how do I get there? The better question is, what would it feel like if I were already there? That's where to live. That's where to breathe. That's where to sleep. Because that feeling, that end, becomes the new home, and everything else adjusts around it. That's what it means to dwell in the end, not to visit it every now and then, not to flirt with the idea once in a while, but to live from it with full emotional presence as if it were already done. The imagination becomes the new environment. The body begins to relax into the feeling. The mind begins to expect it, and slowly everything begins to reflect it, not by pushing, not by controlling, but by being. And sure, there may still be moments of doubt. There may still be days when the senses scream, nothing's changing. But that doesn't matter, because truth isn't decided by the five senses. Truth is decided by conviction, by what's been claimed internally as already done. And the beautiful part is, no one has to fake it or force it. Just feel it. Just live in the end. The end will take care of everything. The vision has its own appointed hour. It will ripen. It will flower. If it seems slow, wait for it, because it's not late. It's right on time. So decide, imagine, feel, and rest. Because what's real isn't what the world says is real. What's real is what's already been accepted in imagination. And once it's real there, it's only a matter of time before the rest of life catches up. So if anything in this spoke to something you've been holding in your heart, maybe now's the time to stop waiting for proof and start living from the end. Imagination is not some wishful escape, it's the blueprint. Everything begins there. And if you've ever had a moment where something you imagined ended up becoming real, even in the smallest way, drop it in the comments, because those stories matter. And you never know who might need to read yours today.